Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I want to talk to you about the narcissist and their maladaptation. So let's jump in. What's kind of annoying when it comes to a narcissist is they're always playing the victim. And when they're in their pompous, arrogant attitude, right? I don't want to sound harsh here. But in their pompous, arrogant attitude that they give you when they're pumped up full supply. So that would be when they have everything going right for them and you're in the mix. Let's say you're their partner. They will turn around and just about slap you in the face in front of people. Now, I've never been slapped by a woman. It's almost as bad as that. They will mock you. They will be passive aggressive, or there's, certain combinations, Pa, 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 pa. They have a combination for everything. And it's always to protect a false self, right? But that's when they're pumped up full of supply. It means like, I could leave you today and I'll go over there to see that man. And I have two others you don't know about, punk. That was the case. You didn't know, or you had inklings of it. And that's always the case with the narcissist, unless they run out of supply completely because they've been unmasked for all of the folly and the disruptions they've created in the whole community. And it's not that you lack feelings for people of that nature. You do. It does get to a point to where you do lose those feelings because you see the other side of it. You see how it's bulldozed you and how they've wrecked you, and then they're playing these games and they're malicious. It's malice, the way they think, the way they operate. It's cold, y'all. So when you start putting together the understanding of the way the narcissist thinks and operates, and then the fact that they will never change their fix, they're concrete, y'all. And then dealing with dark energy, how can you be with something like that? And after a while, it's just a one-trick pony. You're going to come back when you're low on supply or you're out of it. And because of your abandonment issues, and, for instance, maybe you haven't talked to them in a year or two, they'll do anything to get you back, right? To get back in your good graces. They'll give you a good false apology, maybe not. But generally, it's worthless. Just keep your apology because it's not genuine. You have to feel love before you can apologize truly, because it takes love to feel what is deserving to feel for the things that you have done. The only remorse they feel, or the depression when you're out of your life that they feel, is when they have no supply, or they want what they want and they can't have it when they want it. They're spoiled. A lot of them are spoiled brats, and their parents, I still think that it's a determinant before you get here on earth, but a lot of them are spoiled brats. And at least that's how they operate. They act that way. Whether they were spoiled or not, they found a way to act that way. And they found a way to garner supply that way. And for a time, they were able to get it. And in the future, they'll probably be able to get it. Maybe. But, the narcissist is always, this is the thing, when they play the victim and they come back to you and they got this great story of how they were used or something. There's a couple things I want to say about that. One of them is, before you can make any good change in your life and maybe repent for what you've done or apologize for the bad that you've done in your life against people, and then you're coming back to them trying to apologize, first you really have to feel love and feel the truth in it all. Secondly, you got to understand, a narcissist thinks so much about their scheme and plans that they have come up with their fallback before they even got started with the primary situation. Whether it be illegal, it could be something where they're stealing or thieving. It could be them just cheating on somebody. But they already have the narrative set up for them to come in with their victimhood story before they even get started. So it's like they devised the primary and the secondary plan before they even got started. So when they come to you, just know that plan was in motion before they even cheated, before they got caught, or before they went in and stole some money from your account or faked your identity or whatever. They already had plan number 2, how they were going to fix it when it went wrong, and who they were going to blame for it when it went wrong. That's all they do with their spare time, is think about getting over on sources of supply. But the rest of the time is spent on option 2 or operation number 2, plan B. That when this doesn't work, how can I come in with a victimhood story already? What would sound good? What would they accept? That's not genuine. That's scheme number 2. That's lie number 2. That's to double down in a weird way to play on your heartstrings. That's not right. That's worse. I'd rather have you just have a second lie that you didn't concoct and save to have prepared. That makes it worse. It's like you premeditated it. And that's what they do. Best believe. They always do. If you have abandonment issues when you steal and thieve, there's going to be an abandonment situation in that as well. They can't be left alone, and they can't come out with a tarnished mask. So for the thief narcissist, they have to have their backup supply or way out. How can they get out of this? Like, so if they did something thievery, they're going to know what they did illegal. They're going to be having a schematic of exactly what they're doing illegal. Then they're going to act like they were naive when they get caught. So they're going to play this out. So if I got caught, I can say I didn't know, or I just did enough thievery to be on the outside, the outskirts. I was just a watchman. Yeah, but you were in conspiracy to thieve as a watchman. Or I just took the 2 people up that were going to forge the documents. I didn't actually forge them. Yeah, you conspired. Then you probably lied in court. That's a few bad things right there, not to mention that you have my money in your account that you haven't given me, and that you forged documents, all kinds of things. But this is how they are. This is how they are in relationships. So when I get caught for cheating, I'm just going to tell them that I was abused. And I'm not trying to make abuse look insignificant, but the situation with the narcissist is the problem. They take horrendous details that normal people would only use when it's true, like the word abuse. They'll use words and scenarios that they may have made up, and they will do that to play on your harpstrings. And that's where it's diabolical as well, because humanity, if we were to be as crappy as to lie about a situation like that, we at least wouldn't get diabolical with it. I'm just saying, it just continues to get worse and worse with the narcissist, and they don't care. They just want to get out of it. And I'm bringing this up because at the end of the day, they're going to come back to you at some point with some victimhood mentality story for you to bail them out, for you to help them, because they made some poor decision, or they left a good individual that they can't get back. So if they make it diabolical enough, some abusive situation that somebody played on them, and they were too dumb to make their own decisions. That's the other thing. They always play naive and dumb. They didn't know any better, or they didn't investigate the situation before they did it. They just believed somebody said you were evil, so I believed it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's a cop-out. It's a cheesy one at that. We would have to be an imbecile to believe a situation or story like that, the way that you devise situations to perform takedowns on people, or to get away with cheating and lying, manipulating, gaslighting individuals. Let's be real, because the narcissist they're never real. And that's the problem. So then they'll play naive, and they told me a story that you were evil. So I just felt like it was a good opportunity for me to destroy you. And that's the thing. First of all, you have to do your own investigation. You can't just take somebody's word for something. Like, who does that? Especially with all of the devising that a narcissist does and all the planning. That's all they do with their spare time. When they're not working, they're not taking care of the kids. They're not doing laundry. They're not dusting. They're not mopping. They're not going to cook a meal or help somebody do something or mow the lawn or whatever. They're not doing anything constructive. They're just devising destruction. Sounds pretty bad, huh? I don't want to sound like I'm mad. I'm not. But it's these are things you're just passionate about, because whatever traps I fell in, I don't want you guys to fall in them. That's why people like me are here, to give advice before it happens, awareness before it occurs, to leave it before you get in too deep and wreck yourself, hurt your soul, hollow out all of your fruits of the spirit, your hope and your faith, your vision, things that you want to propose to do. They'll wreck it. They'll crush it. That's why you got to keep these people out of your life. But I didn't know. You can't tell me that. These people could have like an IQ of like 160 or something. Emotionally, they're inept. Spiritually, on a higher level, they're inept. In truth and justice, they're inept. They will only side with you or help you if there's something in it for them. That's it. But as soon as you pump them back up, put a bunch of air in them, supply air, their head blows up and they treat you like garbage again. That's it. I know. They'll swing back around and tell you some other naive story. And this is the thing too. Before you can come back with these stupid stories, you got to stop acting maladaptive. Start walking by truth. I mean, whenever you have a scenario occur, think about the repercussions. Think about the circumstances before you do it. And instead of just when you're doing a criminal act or a cheating method on one of your supply sources. Anything. What are the repercussions? Is it truthful? Is it just? Is it right? Is it fair? And fair based on truthful standards, not your standards. Because just because, even if a person was evil, what if that person, whoever you got information from some idiot friend of yours that's a narcissist that told you I was evil, it still doesn't give you the right to try to destroy me. Who are you? You don't do that. You don't have the right to destroy anybody unless you have to, out of the circumstances, protect yourself in some sort of way. You really just want to defend yourself, or if you have to protect somebody because they're doing it and they're a poor injustice and they're playing a wolf in sheep's clothing to a community while they're married and cheating on their wife with you. Maybe when their wife's out of town and there's some priest or something. You know, those are things that should be outed. Priest shouldn't even think about doing stuff like that. I'm just saying as an example. And then what you'll find is the guy, like a priest or something, that's doing all this stupid stuff. They act like Mother Teresa outside the doors of the house. Behind closed doors, they're a bully and a tyrant. And they keep everybody that does know who they truly are in fear, or they're extortionists, or they may have some idiotic title. But I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you something. For instance, to an investigator, to a court system, or to a community, if you got some person that's trying to act innocent and you know they're not, and let's say you're a little afraid, you shouldn't be, but let's say you're a little afraid, I get it, to turn them in, or if you're dealing with them even in the courts and stuff, you got to cut off supply to a narcissist to get them to while out. And at this point in time, these narcissists that you're dealing with, this Bonnie and Clyde, this two scammers, socio-psychopath. This is the thing. Just give them indifference. Don't argue with them, because when you argue with them, you give them supply, you fuel them up, and that's what they want. Whether you're a judge arguing with them, ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, whoever, give them nothing but flat words. And in the community, when you see them, if you're just a community goer, don't even look at them. Don't give them your time of day. Don't argue with them. They want you to argue with them. They get fuel from it. But when they get no supply, when you treat them with indifference, you cut off their supply. They want to be feared, loved, hated, wanted. They want to be the savior. They want to be the villain, the martyr. Any of those will work as long as they're significant in your life. But when you treat them as if they don't exist, they just don't matter to you. Or you just look at them with a face of disgust. Don't even say anything unless you have to. And if you do, just be flat with it. I don't like your ways. Never did. You don't have to say it. If you do that, you're giving them your energy. But you got to starve the narcissist from any fuel, any energy, any supply energy. They're vampires. So if you could think of it like they suck blood out of someone's neck, right? That's how the old school vampire was. Well, these vampires are energetic. They need energy. Doesn't matter if it's good energy, hate energy, anything. Energy. But when you treat them as if they don't matter to you at all, they can't stand that. That's why when you cut them off, you really do it for you, so you could heal your situation with the rumination. You need to get away from all that confusion. But also what comes with that is this abandonment and the situation where they have no fuel from you and they can't stand it. That's why they come to destroy you and wreck you again, because they want to spark some more inflammation in you and try to get you going again, to argue with them, fight with them, apologize to them when it's their fault, accept their stupid apology, anything. But when they come to talk to you and you're just frustrated with them, don't argue with them. Just say, state what you want to say. I'll listen, and then I'm going to leave. Are you done? Okay. When they're done talking, just say, are you done? Okay. Just turn around and leave. And if they want to respond, just say, I'm going to process it. I can't give you an answer right now. Bye. Just calm like that. You're just doing what's necessary, bare minimum, because you have to. But you're not giving them any fuel. You're looking at them like a gray rock. That's what they say to do. Act like a gray rock. A gray rock doesn't do anything. It sits there. It's boring as hell. Don't talk to you. They don't move. Thank you for watching.